Welcome to High Strangeness, where we ask questions and explore all that is strange and unexpected in our reality.
Welcome to High Strangeness. I am your host, Tony, and this is a place where we talk about all things strange and unexpected. Today is going to be another one of our random strangeness episodes, and I have with me today my co-host and regular voice on High Strangeness, Bill Kearney. Bill, how's it going, my friend?
Yeah, we're doing good, getting back to normalcy.
Yeah. How are you pretty excited about Utah getting their hockey team?
I wish they pick a damn team name already.
I think so too.
This season
Go ahead.
This season they're going as Team Utah.
Yeah, I think it's a gimmick, to be honest with you.
It's gonna, yeah, more merchandise. It's gonna be Yeti or Blizzard, but tickets go on sale tomorrow. Actually, I'm thinking about getting a package. Yeah.
Well,
but they got 38,000 people wanting tickets already, so
yeah,
it's gonna be hard to get tickets.
Those listening and watching, we're taping actually on June 6th, so I know this won't air till August, but. Or even September. But that's when the sales started for the tickets, June 6th, or 7th, I guess, is what you're saying, tomorrow.
Yeah.
So what do you think, Yeti?
38,000.
You think Yeti or Blizzard?
I think Yeti. That's what I like.
Me too.
I like Yeti.
Yeah, I agree.
I like Yeti and Outlaw. Or Venom.
Looking forward to it. That's going to be interesting to get a hockey team here in Utah. It's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting, and I think people are really going to get into it because hockey's getting big out here more and more all the time. All right. Let's go ahead and get started here. Let me start off with a question to you. Do you have any allergies of any kind?
Not that I'm aware of, but I think I'm allergic to some things.
Yeah.
I think maybe I might be a little bit allergic to my dog, actually.
Really? So is it like...
when he lays up in our... Well, when he lays up in our bed and I tell Allie, don't let the dog lay in there, and he'll still get up there. If he gets on my pillow, I'll wake up with my eye all puffed up and stuff like that. So
really,
it's always the same eye, the same pillow. Yeah, so I kind of wonder. But outside of that, I don't think I have. I don't know. I've never experienced allergic reaction to anything.
Yeah, I think the only thing I remember, the only issues I've ever had is when I was younger and I rolled around in the grass. I would get really itchy and stuff like that. So I feel like the grass somehow gives me some kind of reaction. So I usually stay off the grass.
Yeah. It could have been around. It could have been anything they used to make the grass green, like weed killer or ground up or something like that too, that made you do that.
Yeah, exactly. What do you think would be
being allergic to grass wouldn't be so bad?
Yeah. What do you think would be the worst type of reaction to have, pretending you don't know what our next subject is?
My sister has one. My sister Mary Ann's allergic to dairy products.
Really?
Like, she can't have cheese and milk. Yeah, she can't have cheese. She can't have milk. So, yeah, she can't enjoy, and they're, back in Jersey, she can't enjoy a nice slice of pizza or a panzerotti, nothing like that. She can't have cheese or milk or anything like that.
I feel like that's...
I think any kind of food.
Go ahead.
Or chocolate, something like that. Something that you're used to having would be horrible. But if you've never had it, I guess it's no harm, no foul either.
Yeah. Chocolate would be very difficult for me since I've had it every day of my life, except for during cancer treatment. That's it. Well...
Trust me, I've known this guy 50 years. It would be difficult for him to not eat Junior Mints.
Yeah, exactly. Well, now let me pivot a little bit and say, when people think of a long day at work, mostly women, I think, they think of relaxing in something like this. I'm not a bath person. I don't know if you are. I don't take baths. I take showers. Are you a bath person?
I haven't taken a bath in forever. Now, I shower. I do bathe. But, well, I mean, when we were kids, though, I mean, I grew up without a shower. You know, we didn't have a shower when I was growing up. It was a bathtub only.
Wow.
You know, but sometimes bathtubs are relaxing. You know, you sit in the water, you know, you put some salt in there, Epsom salt, you know, if you got aches and pains.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's relaxing sometimes, but I prefer shower, get in and get out.
I'm with you on that, but I do agree. I've heard many a lady say, "Oh, I want to just lay in a nice bubble bath." Not comforting to me, but I know a lot of women enjoy that. So, with our next topic, the crazy thing is, what if you couldn't even do that? There is an allergy to water. Can you believe that?
I can't comprehend that. I mean, most foods. Well, I mean, does it count as drinking it too?
Well, we're gonna talk about that because that would be even more difficult, wouldn't it? But I'm talking at the moment about just getting water on you,
including rain.
Yeah.
That'd be horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't go in the pool, the ocean. I mean, I loved walking in the rain when we were younger. You know, still do.
Yeah. So it's interesting because up to 60% of the human body is made up of water, and it is very surprising that it could even be an allergic reaction for anybody out there. But it is, and it's called aquagenic urticaria. Weird name, long name. People that have this develop itchy hives after their skin comes in contact with water, particularly on their neck, arms, and the upper body. So it's a real thing, and that this means basically that people are unable to engage in a number of normal activities, including taking a bath or a shower, going swimming, or going outside in the rain. Could you imagine that?
Yeah. I actually think of something today. I was talking to a guy about this because I said we do a podcast and we were talking about allergic reaction to water, and he couldn't believe it. He told me that he gets rashes when he's out in the sun.
Wow. Yeah.
That would be another one.
Go ahead.
So if you had to choose, would you rather be allergic to water, or would you rather be allergic to like daylight, going outside, going in the sun, going on the beach would be too much for you? I don't know. That's tough. Water or sunlight?
Yeah, I think it'd be tough. I think water, I would rather not have a reaction to water because I feel like you need water just to do things like keep yourself clean, you know?
Yeah, but there's ways to keep yourself clean. I mean, baby wipes and different things like that, but not being able to go outside and enjoy a day at the park or an amusement park or the beach.
Yeah.
That would.
Well, it's interesting.
That's tough.
We're going to watch a short video here in a minute, but even something like crying could lead to breaking out in hives for some individuals. And you asked about drinking water, and in some very rare and extreme cases, drinking water can trigger an allergic reaction in some of these people as well. So it is crazy. So why don't we take 2 minutes and watch this video, and then we'll come back and talk about it.
Like most toddlers, Ivy loves the water, but in her case, bath time can only last a few seconds.
I want to see your feet.
Her feet turn red with painful blisters.
I would rub her with a towel that they would kind of break open.
So what's going on?
Ivy is allergic to water. Get it off of her.
That's right. All water, hot or cold, causes Ivy to have a severe allergic reaction. So her parents, Brittany and Daniel Angerman, limit her outdoor play so she stays clean. But some things are impossible to control.
She's allergic to her own tears.
Ivy's baby sister, Grace, doesn't have the condition.
I want to play with my sister. I want to be in the bathtub. I want to splash, play, laugh. And no, she'll sit there on the sidelines, kind of doomed.
Instead of a bath, Ivy is cleaned with wet wipes.
Put your arm up.
It's absolutely heartbreaking. I mean, you can't even put it into words how that makes you feel as a father.
When Ivy was born, she loved the water.
No rashes, no sign of no pain, nothing bothering her.
Then at 8 months, mysterious red hives began to appear.
I do anything that every other mom would do, and you eliminate all the bath products, check your laundry detergent, check your fabric softener.
Brittany says she tried using distilled and purified water, but it didn't work.
She can feel the reaction coming, and she can feel the heat.
Ivy will say, "Mommy, ouch, hurt." She'll say it's hot.
We kept going to the doctor, like, what's going on? They kept saying, well, she's obviously having an allergic reaction, but we don't know to what.
So what did you think about that? That was an Inside Edition story that they did in 2018, and I felt so bad for that little child who was crying, couldn't play in the bathtub with their sibling. Crazy. You know, it's one thing for an adult to have the issue, but a child. How do you explain to the child you can't go run over there into the sprinklers or hop into the pool? Would it be crazy or difficult? What do you think?
That'd be horrible. I mean, I was thinking, like, you know, if you're born that way, you don't know what you're missing. But when you see other kids having fun,
Yeah.
you know what fun is. You're like, well, why can't I go play?
Yeah.
You know.
Well, and it's like that video, that little child, just looking at her face, I thought to myself, how heartbreaking that would be to tell them, no, you can't do that, you know? There's a number of people out there that have this. I mean, it is very rare, but they do have it. It's unclear, and they do see that it's more common in women than men, and then that the onset, it usually starts to occur during puberty or just after. That's crazy, huh? Underlying
Amazing.
cause? Sorry, go ahead, Bill.
Is there a cure? Or anything that makes it less, you know, where you can shower and not really break out too badly, enough to where you can shower and be like, I'll handle that.
Yeah.
You know, I'll handle that breakout rash, but
Well, no, there's not really a way to heal this or remedy this at this point from what I've been able to research. So some people say, some researchers say that they think the condition arises from certain substances that dissolve in water, and it can activate an immune response in your body. And there's another theory that the skin interacts with water to create a toxic compound, which then causes hives. But they're not really sure. It's just, it's difficult. And so as you can see on the screen here, I mean, there's all these different things that are going on in a family's head when they run into something like this. Imagine if you hadn't heard of this, what in the world you're going to do if your child is breaking out and you're going, what's going on here? What do I need to do? Kind of like the video we just watched. So it is rare. Few studies have been
number 9 says can lead to.
Yeah, let's see if I can.
Okay, number 9 says can lead to.
I
Curious
think
to what it can lead to, other than BO.
I think it can lead to stay in the hospital, is what it was saying. Because if you break out bad enough, or if the allergic reaction, it can give you problems breathing and stuff like that if it gets into your throat. I think that's what they were saying.
Amazing.
I'm trying to see what else we can talk about on this, but studies have been conducted to determine the best and most effective treatments for this, but not much works on it. So even like antihistamines and things like that, maybe Benadryl, they're not as effective as you would think they are. So it is scary, but what are you going to do? It's one of those things that hopefully they figure out more about how to handle it. It's strange, and it seems impossible, but it's real. So folks, just be aware that it can happen. Well, are you ready to hit our next?
Go
ahead.
Yeah, I've never. It's just crazy. That's just crazy. I mean, most food you wash nowadays, like fruits and vegetables. I mean, are you contaminating that at that point?
No, I
You know,
don't.
if you cook pasta, you're boiling water. Is it now contaminated because you cooked it in pasta?
It makes you wonder, but I don't. They didn't say anything about water and food. I I don't know. Maybe when it's diluted down or in another substance, the body doesn't deal with it. But I didn't see anything for that. That's a good point. I'm curious. I wonder if anybody out there.
That would be cross.
Yeah. Does anybody out there know more about it? Send us something. I'd be interested to hear if anybody has any real life experience with this condition. Okay. Next category. The next category we're going to go over is strange jobs. So when you see a picture like this, are you a snake lover or no? I don't really like snakes too much.
Nah, dude. I don't even like looking at this picture, dude. I don't even like looking at it because he's like staring right at me. I'm like,
Yeah.
be gone.
So I know some people out there.
How you are with snails,
Yeah.
I'm like that with snakes.
Yeah, I hate them. Some people like them. Yeah, everybody kind of goes, "Whoa, you got snakes" or whatever. So I think the number of people that enjoy and like to touch them, it's a little bit. You see that a little less frequent than your normal group of people.
Of size, like pythons and stuff like that for pets. I'm like, you're out of your flipping mind, man.
Yeah.
You're gonna wake up one day and he's gonna be wrapped around your neck, and
Yeah,
I just don't trust them.
exactly. Well, if I were to tell you that there was a job with snakes, other than taking care of snakes, what in the world do you think a job could be with a snake?
No, I mean, I guess there'd be all kinds. I mean, you try to get them to bite into a specimen cup to try and find vaccinations for their bites,
Nice.
skin them to make purses or jackets or whatever.
Yeah.
People eat snakes.
Yeah.
I mean, a snake is used for food, vaccinations, clothing.
Yeah, exactly.
That's just three things I can think of. I'm sure there's a couple more.
Well, the job that I pulled up here,
I
and
still think
you
it's
hit
ugly.
it. You hit it on your first one. Was they're called a snake milker, and when I first heard that name, I thought milk. Well, what are they milking a snake? I mean, with how? How are they doing that? But it refers to what you mentioned before, which is simply to try to extract toxic venom from their fangs. So a picture right here, you can see they're extracting that, and it can be made into a freeze-dried powder that research laboratories use to reduce or produce drugs for blood clots, heart attacks, and other things like that. So this is a real job, and the interesting thing about it is not anybody can do it. There's actually, you have to have some training and really have some knowledge about snakes to be able to do it. I still don't think I'd want to do it though.
Bear bait.
Yeah.
Nah, I wouldn't want to do it either.
Yeah. The job is called a herpetologist. They work in zoos. So, there's some education behind that. But it says here that to become a snake milker requires many years of education. A snake milker who works in the field will find employment at a serpentarium. This is a type of lab that houses and researches snakes and other related venomous reptiles. Snake milking can pay rather well. Most of these jobs are paid by the hour. Minimum salary $66,000 a year as of May 2020. Interesting, huh? So hey, if you like that stuff, go for it.
$6,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Now this one is a strange job. We're covering two today. There is a job called a professional line stander. Can you believe that? It's real. I thought it was a joke at first. They call them line
They better
stander.
not make more than me.
I know, right? It says here a line stander, also called a queue stander, a line sitter, or a queue professional, is a person who takes a position in a queue in place of another, often for payment. The formal occupation it came into existence out of a necessity to stand in long lines and queues in different countries. So, for instance, there was a time in the 1980s where in Poland, food and things like that were difficult, and people had to stand in lines for a long time to do that. So there were people actually saying, "Hey, I'll stand in line for you. Go do your thing. You know, just pay me a certain amount." And so the job kind of started like that in certain parts of the world. Makes sense, but weird.
It does. I just saw a YouTube video on something like this too. Ironically, it was a couple of years ago when the new iPhone came out, and a woman hired a kid. Well, the kid went there like the day before, got the number one spot. He had the number one line, and woman came up and said, "I'll give you, I think it was $300 or $400 for your spot."
Wow.
And he goes, "Okay," and he went all the way back to the end of the line. He ended up being number 114, and she wanted the number one spot because she went to buy like 20 phones and sell them to make a profit.
Yeah.
Well, she didn't know that it was limit 2 per customer, so she only got the 2, and it cost her $400 for that spot. And the guy who got all the way back to the end of the line, he ended up getting a phone anyway.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So people I wish I thought about that when we were going I wish we thought about that when we slept out for concert tickets, for Bon Jovi and Rat and Van Halen.
Yeah.
That would have been awesome. It would have been like, "I'll give you $50 to stand in line for me," and then you just show up at like 8 o'clock and buy your ticket.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, look.
And for those who are not old enough to know about sleeping out for concert tickets in the 80s, it was fun.
And dangerous sometimes, but fun, for sure.
Yeah. Well, all depends on who was with us.
That's
but
true.
Yeah.
Well, look, I want people to know you don't have to go in the past to do this. Like you were just talking about, it was like, man, yeah, that would have been smart if we would have done that back in the day. But look, these things, this position, it does still exist today. Depends on where you go. These line standing or seat holding jobs, there's actually services now that you can get a job with them. So, for instance, in Washington, D.C., right now, there's a lobbyist group, and then what they do is they actually will hire some of these people, and then you can get in line for a lobbyist or somebody else that's trying to get into some of these meetings in Washington, D.C., and take a position doing this. So, hey, if people want to look into it and you're...
this could...
Yeah.
Could be also a thing to manipulate people, too.
Explain.
Say a company wants to... They have an item, but they're not going to have... They don't know if it's going to sell well. They're just not sure. There's a lot of rumors that it won't. The stock on it's low or whatever. So they hire all these extras all over the country to stand in line to make it like, my God, everybody's going to get this thing.
Yeah.
I got to get one now because everybody's in line. But these people have no intention of buying one. They're just in line.
Oh, so a little demand
to try and
faking.
drive up the demand.
Yeah.
Yeah, demand faking, yeah.
That's smart. I could see some companies doing that. Why not?
I would.
Yeah.
I would.
Well, there you go. There's an entrepreneurial opportunity
makes
right
sense.
there.
There you go.
Yep. You've given
Everybody
them
gonna do it. I want
royalties?
I want $2 per person that you do there. That's right.
Well, okay. Before
Makes sense. So I would do that. I mean,
Oh, yeah. Why not, right? It's got to work somewhere. Okay.
Yeah.
Before we step off of this, though, let me just say that March 2024, so just a few months ago, the average hourly pay for a line stander in the United States is $18.66 an hour. And that's according to ZipRecruiter. So, there you go. Something out there for everybody. Okay. We're going to head on to our next topic.
What do you do for a living? Can you imagine a guy meeting a girl, introduce you to your parents.
What do you do for a living?
What do you do for a living, son? I stand in line. Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
that
the
would
door.
go over great. Does it have any benefits? Oh man, you gotta love it. Okay, let's hit our next topic here. Oftentimes we talk about mysterious beasts and animals, and today we're going to talk about a cryptid or a beast, and the name is the Mongolian Monster from Arizona. So on the map, or on the screen right now, you see a map of part of Arizona, and what's highlighted in those circled areas are items or areas where this beast has been seen, supposedly. So they believe the Mongolian Monster, if you go to these areas, you have a chance to see them. Let's take a look, see what one of these things looks like. So this isn't actually a picture or anything. It's a carving that somebody made of what they think this Mongolian monster looks like. It's kind of like Arizona's version of Bigfoot, like a big ape-like creature, similar to Bigfoot, but apparently just roams along this Mongolian rim there in Arizona. What do you think? Looks like Bigfoot, maybe? Maybe it's their own type, their own Bigfoot. This is a little scarier. This is just a rendering, but yeah, I wouldn't want to run across this guy. Let's see here. It says here that the Mongolian monster is commonly described as a large bipedal creature over 7 feet tall, large red eyes, and its body is said to be covered with long black or reddish hair except for its chest and face, hands and feet. So reports claim that they smell it's a bad, strong smell around these animals, kind of like a dead fish or a skunk. And yeah, kind of sounds like Bigfoot to me.
Yeah, it sounds like Bigfoot.
Yeah.
I think most states in the western part of the United States have their own Bigfoot. Like, there's Sasquatch in California. There's the one in Oregon. Utah has a Bigfoot up in Provo Canyon. But you know what? You hear all these stories about sightings, but I've never heard a story of someone being injured by one. Like, you've never seen someone, like, if you, I mean, we hear stories, pictures all the time. Or is it real? I've never seen a picture like this. Boom, there it is. Well,
Yeah.
that's definitely it. I mean, there's been no clear-cut picture, no injuries reported, nothing like that to give me undoubtedly, yeah, I believe in them now. Like, I believe in UFOs to a point. I haven't seen one. I go outside and I see one in the sky, then I know it's real. But there's no clear-cut pictures of a lot of these myths.
Right. I think, if anything, the stories you hear, I'm talking more about Bigfoot at this point, is the growling and the intimidating way that they really seem like they're just trying to say, get away. Like maybe Bigfoot has, a child there or something, or whatever reason, maybe they're territorial, where they kind of try to scare you away. That's about as much as you hear. So you're right. You don't. I'm not aware of many really violent type scenarios. Although you do hear of people going missing in some of these forests where Bigfoot is expected to be seen. So maybe that, but nobody's coming back saying, I've had my arm ripped off or something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm a pretty tough guy. I don't run from battle. I mean, I'd rather get my butt whooped by 4 or 5 people than run. But I'm hauling butt from something like that, man.
Exactly.
I can't run like I used to, but I'll limp away real fast.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't test my ego would not get in the way on this. I'd be like, bye.
Yeah. Well, let me share real quick a couple sightings. First one, 1903, it was reported on the edition of the Arizona Republican paper, and it was near the Grand Canyon. So it was cited to have long white hair in that case, matted beard, and that sort of reached its knees. It wasn't wearing any clothing. Claws, they say that had a coat of gray hair nearly covering the body, dirty skin, and they found the person that ran upon it in 1903 saw that it was sitting there drinking the blood of two cougars that it looks like it had killed with a club. And then it saw the person who saw him, or the beast, and it screamed with this wild, unearthly sound that scared the person away. So that's one. The other example that I ran across was a cryptozoologist. His name was Don Davis. He reported during the mid-1940s that he was on a Boy Scout trip near Payson, Arizona, and his account is that this creature was huge. Its eyes were deep set and hard to see, but they seemed impressionless. His face seemed pretty much devoid of hair, but there seemed to be long hair along the sides of its face, I should say, and his chest and shoulders and arms were massive, like muscular, big, strong. So there you go, a couple of sightings and that have been reported for those guys. All right. One interesting thing that it looks like that part of the country in Arizona, they seem to be taking advantage of this whole lure because they have a big race that they do every year called the Mongolian Monster, and it's like a long race, and you can see it on the screen there. That's the path it goes through. I don't know how many miles it is. Well, I guess you could tally it up. They're showing there on the screen, so maybe it's 80 to 100 miles. Bill, do you remember a friend we had years ago named Nate Camereth?
Yeah.
He used to do those 100-mile bike races, and I was like, wow. Like, that seems like a really long race. But he used to do that. So I guess something like this, not a big deal for people.
Yeah. Yeah, he used to ride his bike to work from downtown Salt Lake City to Murray.
Yeah.
I used to call him stupid for it.
Right.
Yeah, when he bought a truck, I was like...
Yeah. You were saying when he bought a truck, what did you do?
It was just shocking me.
I see
The
what
guy
you're
always
saying.
had his bike with him.
Yeah. He used to love to ride that. Okay. Next topic. Question for you. Have you ever washed your car just to have a bird crap right on it right afterwards?
No.
Does that drive you nuts?
Yes.
I've had that happen.
Dude, it's like a magnet. My
Yeah.
truck is like magnetic to like bird poop
Yeah.
all the
Well,
time.
I had this one bird for all summer last year. Every day I must have flown over my house and it would just drop one right on the hood of my truck. And you know how I am about this. Like, I wash my truck all the time. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. I'm gonna shoot this thing every day. And then another weird thing happened at work this year, actually. I don't know if you've noticed. Have you noticed that there seems to be huge flocks of birds gathering and flying all around, and you see them sometimes on top of houses, and they cover the whole house roof? Have you seen that lately?
I've seen it, a couple. It's drawn my attention. I'm like, that's weird.
Yeah, I've seen that this year
You know,
several times.
When I saw it a couple months ago. And where was it? I think it might have been outside in front of my house, actually.
Yeah.
It was just they were all over the yeah, man, it was weird. It was in front of my house. They were all over the power lines, the trees, any of the cars. Just yeah. As soon as I saw it, man, I was like, "This is flipping weird." It reminded me of a movie called The Birds.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. We had this where I worked. One of the buildings in our campus is a 5-story building, and I park just outside of that. And one day I was looking out my window in my office, and I could see the same thing, just masses of birds just going like in pattern, flying all over the place. And I thought to myself, man, I hope they're not on the other side of the building, because they looked like they kept landing on the roof. And then when I went out to get in my truck after work, hundreds of bird crap all over my car and all the cars in that area. And I thought to myself, oh my gosh. I had to go get it washed right away.
It was an aerial attack.
It was. Crazy.
It's like they declared war, man. The aerial attack.
Yeah.
Yeah, it bothers me. But what drives me worse is I travel a lot up and down to the farm, and is the bugs that get on the front of the truck.
Oh yeah. Massive. I don't know how people ride their motorcycles.
Yeah. You have no idea what the front of my truck looks like. I mean, I had to go through a car wash twice just to get most of them off. I still had some on there.
Yeah.
So
crazy. We get a lot of bugs out here.
But
that's
yeah,
for sure.
motorcycles, like, oh, well, yeah, but
Hope they wear a helmet with a shield, because I don't know how they don't. I don't know how they stay on the bike when those things are coming.
yeah, I wouldn't be talking driving.
Exactly.
Ugh, which is gross.
Well, so the topic that we're going to talk about here in a second it'll follow up right on what I'm about to say. But do you remember a couple years ago where it looked like it rained mud? Like literally, all the cars had, like it rained one afternoon, and the sides of people's houses were muddy. Cars. Did that happen in your neighborhood? That happened a couple years ago, and I was going, what the heck's going on? There's like everything's muddy.
I remember something like that, but I think I might have been in Colorado. Was it like 2 years ago?
Yeah, I think it was about 2 years ago.
I might have been living in Colorado
Might have
when
missed it, yeah.
that happened.
Well,
That's all right with me.
it happened here, and it was crazy, and I thought how bizarre it was. But the next strange topic is black snow. So in April 3rd, 1889, it snowed black snow in the state of New York. Now, it says here that during a general snowfall throughout the northern part of the state, for a short time, snow of an abnormally dark color fell over the counties of Lewis, Herkimer, Franklin, and Essex, covering an area of about 112 miles by 30 miles, and everybody got a layer of black snow. I've never seen black snow. I mean, you see it on the roads after cars and stuff, and the snow plows throw it to the side, but not dark or black snow. Have you ever seen anything like that? Maybe up by the...
I've never seen anything.
Yeah. I was just curious, by your land out there in Tapiona. Didn't know.
No. Usually it's really clean out there.
Yeah.
But I would imagine this happening in more populated areas with pollution and stuff like that.
Yeah. Let's see here. Okay, I mean, so it is crazy, and that's a while ago, 1889, but they said here that some people at the time, because they couldn't figure out what it was, they took some of the snow and they tried to let it melt to just see, what would happen, and it was a very fine black ash that was in the snow. So some areas had up to a half an inch of that black snow that was clearly creating layers between, so you could see white snow and then a half an inch layer of this black snow. And so people were pretty alarmed by it. And people, since and even around that time were trying to figure out how that could even happen. There were some different theories, but no one still knows 100%, exactly what happened. But back in the day when they looked at it under a microscope, they determined that it was more like extremely powdery dirt, a very fine dirt that was in the snow. And after a number of scientists and different people looked at it, their verdict was they think that there was a whirlwind somewhere, outside of the city. Must have been very big, but it pulled up all kinds of dirt into the atmosphere, and then these large particles fell and got caught up in the snow and just came down and as part of the snow. So, I don't know. Weird, huh? Black
Makes
snow.
sense, though. It's the only thing that makes logic.
Yeah.
It's the only thing that makes logic sense.
Yeah. Well, that was our 4 topics for today. What did you think about them? Any of those topics stand out for you?
Yeah, the allergic to water is crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, just absolutely insane. And then, this black snow is. I'm curious to find out if it's happened again somewhere since what 1903 was.
1889.
1889.
Yeah.
Yeah. Curious to see if there was any tornadoes in the area the day before, day before, or something like that could contribute to that.
Yeah. Yeah, all the things I read, they couldn't figure out what it was. They didn't have any other storms or anything like that they could attribute it to. They just said it had to be the example I gave you. That's what they thought. So anyway, yeah, I agree with you. I think for me, the disease, the condition, the allergic condition to water, is surprising, scary, kind of, because who would expect that? And what would you do if your child had that? And you know, fortunately, you can see the rash starting to show up, and then you can go ahead and talk to the doctor. But you wouldn't know any other way. It's weird, but it's supposed to be painful. Little kids are very uncomfortable when they have that. So, well, as we wrap up on this episode here, anything you want to say to the audience, Bill, before we close it?
Well, I think we're good here. We're gonna take a little break for a little while.
Yeah.
Watch some Stanley Cup playoffs and NBA finals. Follow the Phillies, and this is the fun time of sports for me.
Yeah.
But what other topics do we have on the agenda coming up for our viewers, so they can kind of follow along and look forward to further?
Yeah, I'm glad
episodes.
You're saying that. I'm glad you're asking that question. We usually do provide that. So, folks, if you want to know what episodes are coming in the coming month before, so if you're going into September, let's say, and you want to know, hey, what is High Strangeness going to be putting out there and launching in September? At the beginning of every month on the website, we give you a nice review or preview of the types of episodes that are coming up. And then we'll even go out another month and say, hey, keep your eyes open for these concepts that you're going to be able to watch. So, yeah, Bill, for people, they're going to see all kinds of things, from interviews with an Olympic athlete, that's coming up soon. They're going to see a whole slew of scary and Halloween type episodes that are going to happen this fall around Halloween. And I'm working on some other things that I don't have yet worked out yet, but definitely look forward for some really great episodes coming down the pike. Authors of books and experiencers, survivors of tragedies and things like that. So, yeah, thanks for asking that, because you're right. There's, folks, a lot of good stuff coming in the next few months. So, well, other than that, I think we're going to wrap up this episode right here. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. And just keep in mind that there's a lot of strange and unexpected in our reality. Keep your eyes, ears, and minds open. And until next time, stay safe.
Thank you for listening to High Strangeness. This was a glance at some of the strange that exists in our reality.